Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Julie. I'm a homeschooling mom of 5, the youngest of which is 5 and is in kindergarten this year. So this video topic is very timely since we're going through kindergarten right now. Specifically, if you are just a beginner homeschooler, maybe your child is entering kindergarten and there is just so much on your mind, it can be overwhelming to think of what your homeschooling journey is going to look like, what your child is supposed to know in kindergarten. Where do you start? And you want to just provide the best possible education for your kids, the perfect curriculum, the most well-rounded education out there. And so that can be stressful. We start off with school the year my kids turn 5. That's how we do it in Canada. That's how schools do it. So the calendar year that your child turns 5, that's when they start senior kindergarten. And that's their year before grade 1. And we at our homeschool, we start, this year is just a gentle introduction to formal learning. They have years and years ahead of them to learn all the things. And while I do want to get them started on those school subjects, kindergarten is quite simple around here. I of course do have to start by saying all children learn at a different pace. All children have their own learning style and their own pace for learning. So they're not all going to reach these developmental milestones that I am giving you here on this list of what I want my kindergartner to know. So it's a little bit tricky to know how to say this without being like, my kids have to learn this in kindergarten, because not all of my kids do learn all of this in kindergarten. This is kind of my list of things, like I would like them to learn these things. And if they don't, that's fine. There's no failing kindergarten around here. We will just delay those till the next year or through the summer. They're continually working and progressing. But I do just have a list I wrote down of things that I would like to at least start introducing them to during the year of kindergarten. I do have a list, and so, I'll be looking down at my paper a few times because I just have like all these things written out that I want to make sure to mention today. The first thing is to recognize and be able to name all 26 letters of the alphabet and also know the sounds that those letters make. By the end of kindergarten, I'd like my child to be able to form all of the uppercase and lowercase letters, to be able to count all the way to 100, maybe needing some help, but at least being able to understand how that sequential order works. I also want my child to be able to recognize those numbers and be able to write them down. Now that will take a lot of practice, and it might be grade 1 by the time they're really grasping it, but just being able to understand 37, and we use math blocks, math manipulatives that really help with this, but to be able to understand 13 means 3 tens, so it's 3 tens, and then it's 7 ones or 7 units, so 37. Understanding how those numbers work, just what it means, right? Math isn't all about just knowing your numbers on a paper, but just really grasping what that means. My child will learn simple addition and subtraction facts. So it's basically adding numbers all the way up to the sum of 10 and also subtracting numbers that are below the number of 10. They'll also learn how to count by 5s, how to count by 10s. I will teach my child how to hold their pencil correctly and form letters and numbers quite neatly. I mean, it's a work in progress all the way through. I mean, my kids, my middle schooler still needs to work on writing neater. So it's not a quick thing, but just for them to understand where their letter should start and how it bumps the bottom line, and how your top line, if you're doing an F, let's say, your top line goes right at the top. Just understanding where the letters should be on their note paper. They are often beginning to read in kindergarten, so being able to sound out just those very simple, basic CVC words, so CAT or BUS. And again, reading is a big thing. Some kids learn to read. I've had kids that learn to read at 4. I had one that wasn't really reading until 7. So there's a wide range of normal ages to be learning to read. I want my kids to know all of their shapes and colors and how to write out their first and last name. I want my child to know our phone number and know our address, and also be able to recognize rhyming words. So maybe they can't just spout off a whole bunch of rhyming words, but if you say to your child, okay, here's your first word, cat. What rhymes with cat? Is it bus or bat? And that doesn't need to be a sitting down and doing school thing. None of these need to be. This is something that we'll do sometimes while we're driving. I'll say, okay, give me a word that rhymes with such and such a word. Also, as they're beginning to learn how to read, that's another great thing to do. I'll say, okay, I'm gonna say a word that starts with dog. Do you have a word? I'll call out to the back seat. That's something we've done a lot as our kids are at that age while we're driving, and it just gets their brains turning, their minds thinking, and just kind of preparing to be ready to read. That's it. That is my list. That is our curriculum: reading, writing, and math. That's all we focus on as far as a formal curriculum during kindergarten. No science or geography or history. I mean, art, yeah, they're coloring pictures and stuff, but I don't have a formal curriculum. Now, we're doing a lot of reading together. Read aloud books. The older kids will read to the younger ones. And through those books, they're learning about animals. They're learning about the solar system. They're learning about patience and kindness. They're learning all the different subjects just through books. We also do a lot of sensory play and outdoor play. Kids this age are always asking questions. So if you are available to be answering those questions, they are absorbing so much. The world really is their classroom. Oh, I will include when my kids are in kindergarten, we're doing school 3 days a week. And I wrote down on my book, on my paper here, I wrote down that it takes us 1 to 1.5 hours to complete their schoolwork. And now I'm thinking like, no, it does not. It probably takes us like 40 minutes, maybe 40 minutes to complete writing and reading and math most days. Some days might be a little bit pokier, and there's always interruptions. And so it's hard to really know how long I spend on kindergarten because I'm working with the older kids at the same time. And of course, they're learning all day long, whether we're sitting at the table and doing this schoolwork or not. But I hope that that was helpful to you guys. I hope you can take a little breath of relief and know it's not, I don't want my list to sound like, oh my goodness, there's so much, I better get going on teaching my kids this. No, get a math book for your child. Get them a book where you're teaching them how to read, the basic steps for learning how to read. Read to them a lot. Get them a little simple handwriting book where they're learning how to form the uppercase letters. That usually comes first, and then they learn how to form the oh my goodness, I can't talk. Form the lowercase levels. Oh my goodness, the lowercase letters. I need to stop filming. I can't talk anymore after that. But I hope that this video was helpful. And if you have a kindergartner, good luck. I hope you're having a good school year, and I hope your plans are coming into place. And subscribe to my channel if you want to follow along and see more of my content. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.